Hey guys, it's Nemo, and today's video wasn't actually supposed to be an entire video. It was just supposed to be me gathering footage for devastating strikes to do a little devastating strike montage. And then this video happened. Now it is the Jervis, the HMS Jervis, or Jervis, however you want to pronounce it, the Tier 7 Royal Navy destroyer. It is premium at the moment. You can get them out of containers in the Royal Navy event, and I was just lucky to get one, and to tell you the truth, it is brilliant once you get past its weaknesses though. So the weaknesses of this ship are a 6.3 kilometer detection, which is not very good for Tier 7. Considering the fact that a lot of the Tier 7s have at least 6.1 around that, or a little bit under. The Shiratsu, I think, has got a 5.7 or a 5.8. The Gajimata, which I would say is the best silver Tier 7 ship, it has a 6.1. So the only thing is that the Gadget might have a 6.1, but it has the deep water torps. So I have the other weakness on this ship is the torpedoes themselves. Yes, you can fire 10, but they're only 7 kilometers. And when you've got a 6.3 kilometer detection and 7 kilometer torpedoes, it can be difficult to stealth fire. But the strength of this ship would be her guns. Now I run BFT. I only have a 10-point captain on here, and I'll run through the points of the 10-point captain at the end of the video. And it allows me to fire at 4.5 seconds. Now 4.5 seconds when you're top tier is pretty good. The only time you'll probably struggle is when you get in against Tier 9s. In saying that, I have fought Tier 9s in this destroyer and have finished first and second on the team. So if you're wondering what I'm doing just now, I'm just having a look at the smoke screen to see where it is and how it's laid out. So here we go, we've got the torpedoes in action. Now I've sent them towards the Gajimata because the Scharnhorst is likely to move now that he's seen them.
Problem solved, sir.
And they are short range. As you can see, they're only the 7 kilometer torpedoes, but that's okay because we're going to surprise a little Gajimata. So I'm just opening and firing here while I can't. There's the dev strike on the Gajimata. I say it all the time, guys, and Jingles says it all the time as well. Don't sit broadside stationary in a smoke screen. There is case in point why you don't. So we've managed to make this little weakness into a strength. If you can convert the weaknesses of the Jervis into its strengths, you have a very powerful destroyer. As I've been saying, it's a very good destroyer to play. I enjoy it. The only thing that gets me is that Wargaming has tried to peg it into a certain role, which is a defensive role. That's why it's relatively slow. Although with a speed flag on, I have my Jervis going at 37.8 knots, which is pretty good. That's actually pretty good speed, straight line speed. And the guns are just good. And when you buff them with the BFT, they're even better. So it's time to finish off the Scharnhorst, and now we can go into the cap. Now that the cap is clear, we can go in. You don't need to rush the cap as a destroyer. Now there is no radar in this game, which is rare and strange because there's usually radar in every game lately. But patience is the key, and especially with these Royal Navy destroyers, they're built as supposed to be defensive destroyers. So the idea is that you pop your long-lasting hydro and you dodge all the torpedoes of the enemies, and you just wait. You wait for the enemy to push you. Now, for me, That's not really... Sorry about that. Making people play a certain way is sort of ruins it a little bit. So you just got to find your own style. Play your own style and it'll work the best. So someone pings the map here, they want that Pensacola dead, so I try to go for the kill secure. Unfortunately my shots are just a little bit too floaty at this range. And he gets killed anyway, so that's good. Now most of my team here unfortunately are at A against one ship that we can see. There is a Roma running around that was last spotted here, but now they have to move. It's time to move across, and I say in the chat, right, don't linger at A, guys, come on. So, and then a wild Roma pops up, and I'm like, oh, I better turn around here. So I get ready to dump the torpedoes. I know he's going to turn away, but you never know with any player, not just battleship players, that they could come back in. See, there's a cruiser in behind me in A, and the Roma is aiming at him now. His turret angles are relatively good to allow him to kite away like that while still aiming at the cruiser. But if he came back down and across, I would get him with the torpedoes. And that's the problem with these torpedoes, is that having that short range 7 kilometers, you can't really lead ships. You either have to get ships sailing in a straight line, or you have to ambush. Which, see, I like to lead, and that's why I like, my favourite destroyer in the entire game is the Yu Yang. You've got the 13.5 kilometer torpedoes that you can just fire off, and you can lead enemy ships, which is handy. But that's alright. We've got him away. He's running away. He knows he's spotted. The worst thing is in any ship other than, or any ship I guess, is when you're spotted and you can't see what's spotting you, and then you just start getting fired at. So as you can see, the rest of the team from A starts moving across, except for a lone Gneisenau. Now the Gneisenau is going up against a Roma and a Myoko. Now this, straight away, for anybody who plays the Gneisenau, I do not recommend. You have 6 guns. You have 6 guns with the most horrible dispersion in the game. You are going to lose that battle. I'd pit the Myoko against the Gneisenau any day. Now the Myoko has their 8-inch guns, which can burn very, very well, and the Roma has 9 guns, which are relatively accurate. So, bad mistake there from the Gnei. Anyway, we're talking about the Jervis. So here I'm going into cap. We now have 3 caps, and I'm just telling the guys in the chat, we've got caps, don't push the D. Now this is the hotspot map. For any of you guys who don't know, D on this map is a death trap, as our Gadgemata just found out. All those islands and those that ring of islands there adds a very, very good ambush point, defensive point for any team that holds that. So we have the 3 others on the diamond style capture of this map. Sometimes it's 3 across in a row. I actually like this diamond capture point setup. It makes you think a little bit more. And that cap there, D, is just, if you have that cap, you can defend that so well. There's so many islands there that you can set up against and get crossfires, and destroyers can torp trap. It's just, if you've got 3 caps, don't worry about going in there. You don't need to. And our Gnei, who was chasing, is now dead. And funnily enough, he took torpedoes from the Myoko and died. So what you can see me doing here is just holding my cap. I'm the only one in the north here. I can see that there are enemy ships all around me, and I know that there are the 2 enemy ships behind me. So I just want to hold this cap to make sure that no one can surprise my team from the north, and that no one can take any points off us without this being contested. So I head down south. It's like a little patrol route, I guess you could say. I'm heading down, and what I do is I end up turning back to go back towards the cap so I can try and spot. Now the thing that really made me a little bit cautious here when playing this was the fact that their destroyer hasn't been seen for a little while. I have his last known location, but I don't know where he is. And then my team decides that they're going to throw the game. Look at the position of the cruisers, like just pushing right through the guts. They don't need to do that. When you've got this captures the way it is, we've got 3 here. We've got a good position, we can just pull back. I'm at the north scouting, so the guys don't need to worry about that. They can just concentrate on the C cap and the A cap, defend it, and that's all you would need to do. But World of Warships. So the other thing is in this game, if someone has a plan, even if it's a garbage plan, people like a plan. So I've just said, let's just hold the caps, and some of them are sort of sticking to it, sticking to that little plan, and then as you can see, the cruisers are overextending. So I just continue on my little patrol route at the moment. I don't need to do anything else. I haven't got the torpedo range to try and push and attack, so I need to be effective some other way, and by keeping these guys spotted is actually quite effective tactic, because when a ship is seen, as I said before, when a ship is seen and it cannot see what is spotting it, it makes players nervous. It makes players very nervous. So all I need to do while losing more ships of my team is just keep these guys spotted and let the others have a go at shooting them. So the Yamagi's getting close. He's now in torpedo range. Again, my complaints with this ship, the only complaint actually with this ship would be the 7-kilometer torpedoes. You can work with 6.3 detection. You can work with that. Even in tier 9 you can work with that. But the best thing about tier 7 is that you don't face tier 9s as much. You're more likely to play tier 7-8 games, which is good. Like, it's a comfortable setting for anyone, is that if you're in that central spread, tier 7 in a tier 8 game and there's tier 6s, makes it quite easy and enjoyable. So I get spotted, I smoke up, I know he's flooded, so what I want to try and do is set a fire. If I can get him to burn, because he was clearly done his damage control after the flooding. If I can get him to burn, that's really going to make him, 1, frustrated, and 2, he's going to really have to think about his next move, because he can't escape this position. As you can see, the Yamagi has pushed into the cap, and he has an island on his broadside, so the only way for him to get out of here is 1, head straight south into me, or 2, try to turn away from the island and offer broadside to everybody else. So I'll switch to AP there for a little bit, because he was broadside, and if you AP through the superstructure with any destroyer, you can really start to wreck a battleship. As he fired, I made sure that I was broadside to him, because I'm more likely to get over penetrated instead of penetrated. Battleship AP, when it does do penetrations mainly through the bow or stern, can absolutely wreck destroyers. So if you're in a destroyer and you're going to take on a battleship, try to do it broadside, so that you will get over penetrated and you'll take less damage. And Nagato here decides that he doesn't want to play anymore and just sails into a crossfire, and we are seriously down on ships. So I tell the team, let's just hold. So in a way, I've sort of played the destroyer the way that it is desired by wargaming to play in that defensive role. As you can see, I'm just moving around in a small area, just watching my cap, defending my cap. Anything that comes near, it's time to put shots on it, time to put torpedoes on it. Let's try and get rid of our enemy that comes near us. And that's essentially what wargaming wants these ships to be as. They've labelled them as defensive destroyers. Now, the thing that made me nervous here is I saw a torpedo in the south, so I was like, right, I have to get that Akatsuki. So I did. Took a shot at him, turned away. Now because I'm targeted and I know there's cruisers, I smoke up, pop the hydro, and just avoid the shots there from the Edinburgh. Now the Edinburgh player didn't actually play too bad. I didn't think he played bad at all. But destroyer captains win games. And if you have half of an idea of what you're doing in a destroyer, or in any ship for that fact, you're more likely to win. So I tell the key here to run, because our NC just went down, and we've got a good lot of points. The only thing that's going to let us down now is that if the key dies, I can get a solo warrior, which would be awesome. And I looked at him there because I was just like, no, run, don't go down there, just run. Sometimes I made a video a while ago about discretion is the better part of valor in my Des Moines, and for the last couple of minutes of the battle I don't fire or anything. I'm just sailing away, watching my team die. Too many people have got the no cap kill all mentality. And that's how you lose. That's how your win rate goes right down. For anyone who's interested in their win rate. Unfortunately, the Miyoko just gets through. I'd say he might have been running his hydro, so I pop up these really short duration smokes. Now I run the smoke generator, which allows me to get about 3 or 4 puffs out of my smoke screen. Instead of 2, which is usually what the Royal Navy's destroyers get. So my smokes do run a little bit shorter than average smokes on the Royal Navy destroyers, but you don't really need to. That 30 seconds that I get, I think it's pretty good. It's enough. Unfortunately, I couldn't sink the Miyoko there. He does end up getting away, but he doesn't have very much health left when he does get away. So what I want to do right now is just, when I can, if I can hit him, I will. If I can reset the cap, I'm going to try and reset the cap, because there's not very long to go. There's not very many points. If I can deny them as many points as I can without being killed, then I should do it. So I get all this fire coming in from all 3 ships. Unfortunately, it was a penetration on a module. That's why there was no damage there on that penetration. And I managed to get away here without taking any damage. So I couldn't reset the cap in time because I was too interested in trying to kill the Miyoko. But I'm out of there. We've got hardly any time left. And the key is finally running away. So the game is going to wind down here. There's only 55 seconds left. It was as much as my team tried to throw, we did manage to get out of here. Thankfully, the key activated a little brain cell and started running away. As I said, you don't need to fight all the time. You can just run and you will win. So right at the end here, I was heading south to try and see if I could spot, to make sure I can keep that Algerie spotted. I don't want him to surprise attack me. And all in all, it was a pretty good game. Now I was hoping that the key would sink so I could get a solo warrior. Probably not the best thing. Now the post-battle results screen has cut off at the end here. Something's gone wrong with the recorder, as it always does because I'm so noob. But we'll go through the captain skills. The first thing you want is priority target. You want to know how many people are aiming at you, so you can be aggressive or not. Last stand, which is a staple of destroyer play. Basic firing training, buff those guns, make them a little faster. And concealment expert, so you can get down to 6.3 with your camos. We'll go through and have a look at the modules. Now the modules do get cut off at the end. I run all premium consumables, main armaments, propulsion mod. There's the smoke one there because you want to, I just want to increase the puff of smoke, and we'll go into another video here for you just for something funny to watch while I go through the end of that smoke and that. So you want to just increase that puff of smoke. You know, instead of 2 puffs, get 3 or 4 puffs. Now it does make it a bit shorter. It is the new Royal Navy destroyer smoke has got a really poor duration time, and then the final module there is the steering gears. Now you can't actually run the propulsion mod, which is what I usually run on my destroyers, because the propulsion of the Royal Navy ships is a lot better than pretty much everybody else. In saying that, I still don't like it. I'd prefer the propulsion mod, but that's the luxury we don't have. Anyway, that's my build for a 10-point captain and the destroyer as it is. So I just thought I'd add this on the end of this Jervis gameplay because it's just cheeky. It's cheeky, it's hilarious. And it proves that you can win games without actually having to fire. Or I do fire at the end, or do damage. I don't even think I do much damage at all in this game. So as you can see there, a lot of my videos pop up with that team lineup. Now I have them already set out on the sides of the screen, but if you hold tab, you can see your team and your opponent's team, who's got the kills, who hasn't got the kills, who's alive, who's not alive, what you're facing. So the idea for me and again it's another hotspot map, what I wanted to do was spot the middle. No one ever spots the middle in this game mode. Everybody always goes around to the islands, you know, and it happens with almost every single game that you play. Now what I wanted to do there is sometimes when you pull the map up, there's a destroyer over there on the one line, as you can see, an enemy destroyer. If you pull the map up, sometimes you can see what your allies can see. So I wanted to try and identify what destroyer that was, so I knew what destroyers I could possibly face. 2 of their destroyers have been spotted, one on each side, and the other one hasn't, so I wanted to find out where that other one was. The Gadgemata on their team, little hello to him. Walid Kadri, he used to be part of Claire Nautilus. He left a while ago, and he's been doing relatively well with, I think it's Lin MF. So I think, well, I've pushed deep enough here. Nothing spotted me, so I'm just going to touch the cap. Usually if I hit the cap, or anyone touches the cap in this kind of scenario, you're going to bring the whole team back. The panic stations go crazy, and everybody comes back towards their cap, you know, once it starts getting capped. And I see a buy-in, and if only I had 9-kilometer torpedoes or something. 9 kilometers, or even 8, I could have been able to give him a little bit of lead maybe, and surprise him with torpedoes. But I didn't. It's unfortunate because, as you know, the Jervis has got only 7-kilometer torpedoes. He does slow down, although I was expecting him to react a little bit faster to the capture. But it is a stock buy-in, so either he hasn't played very many games, or it is a player who has played quite a number of games grinding a new line, who knows that his stock buy-in is no match for whatever destroyer is going to be in the cap. But you can't let your base be capped like this. You need to react, otherwise you're just going to lose. So cheekily, I just sail around in the cap here. I've got the hydro pumping just in case something torpedoes into the capture point. Not likely, considering both the other destroyers are still spotted, or at least one of them is spotted out on the other side. But again, there is that other destroyer that I don't know where he is, so better off not taking the risk here. So I try to see if I can get an angle on the buy-in. I know he's going to go around the island just by the way that the position indicator there for the torpedoes is going. He's not probably going to want to come rushing in. He's more likely going to want to get a surprise attack me. But in saying that, every time you set up a surprise attack, you have to expect that the enemy is going to try and surprise attack you. So try to time the torpedoes there with the indicator as it was before it ran out. But I think he might have slowed down behind the island because none of these hit, unfortunately. A little bit of a spoiler there. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He's the closest one at the moment. And then I think they're Icarus spots me. I'm not sure. Anyway, I get spotted. And all I can think is, so it's actually a gadget by the looks of it on the other side. And then lucky for me, thank God, no one hit me with that smoke when I slowed down. So I just thought I'd put that on the end there, a cheeky little Jervis gameplay. I didn't even fire a shot in anger. I sent some torpedoes out, one cap, 3 spots, and still finished third. Anyway guys, thanks for joining me, and I'll catch you next time.